Hey guys, so welcome to Nerdbauchery. Today we are going to be running the Golden Hammer of Kos, a special one-shot adventure taking place underneath the city of Dagger Falls in Faerun. I am Rich, I am your DM today. I will be running our players through this adventure. You're going to be seeing Jan, Colette, Rick, John, and Burl do their best to survive. It should be very interesting. For today, we have a very eclectic group of characters, so much so that the human paladin is considered the exotic one out of the group. So, we start our adventure with a little bit of a read through. Now, for most of your lives, you've lived hand to mouth, taking up any job or quest to keep your belly full. But now the worm has turned, and either through shrewd tactics, use of force, or, well, most likely in your case as a group, simple blind luck, you've come into possession of a map detailing the whereabouts of one of the most legendary treasures in all of Faerun, the Golden Hammer of Kos. Knowing that legendary items often equate to an unimaginably happy purse, you have made your way to the town of Dagger Falls. Inside the ruined Church of Lathander is an entrance to a forgotten crypt where the map claims the item lies in an unknown antechamber. You meet a man who is able to get you all of your permits and paperwork for the local constabulary named Javier, who is going to accompany you for a small fee. He simply wants a small portion of whatever treasure you may find as a fee for him to help his wife and children within the city. And he is going to be your map bearer and guide you through, because as long as you have that paperwork, the guards are not going to interact with you. They're not going to stop you, and you're not going to have any flack for entering an old temple. So he guides you down, and you descend into this pit of horrors. And this is where your story begins. You find yourselves in this first room, and you see that the walls and the floor are all made of very, very ancient flagstone. The rocks are heavily aged and damaged from the earth shifting and other tremors throughout the world. You see that things are falling apart in this area, and it seems that one misstep or knocking into a wall could threaten to knock the entirety of it down. So, that being said, who will be taking the lead of this party? Who will be in front of the marching order? And then we can move down the line from there.
Well, we have a rogue, right?
Yeah, I can go forward and start keeping my eyes peeled for traps.
Okay, so Colette, the Tabaxi Rogue, you will be taking the lead of the party, and you will be scouting for traps. Could you please tell me what your passive perception is?
My passive perception is 11, but I'd like to do it stealthily.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to have the party moving about half as quickly as they normally would. And if a stealth roll comes into play, I will let you know when I need you to make it.
Thank you.
So with an 11, you have, for passive, you're looking around, and that's when you notice that it's very easy to get your foot or your boots caught on any of these upturned flagstones, and you see dirt and things falling from the ceiling above. And as you're watching, I need you to give me a perception check for the area around you.
Oof. Not great. 9.
All right. Yeah, so you're looking, and you're being careful. You're moving through because you know how dangerous all of this could be. And as you're stepping through, you are walking, and suddenly you feel a shift in the stones beneath your feet. a few grains of what appear to be sand start hitting your neck. And you know sand doesn't fall up. But as you're stepping and you look up to see what's happening. The debris and rubble fall from the partially collapsing corridor atop of you. Searing pain is felt all over as the massive weight of the rock strikes you. You fall to the ground, just barely conscious from the pain, and bleeding profusely from various cuts and abrasions. You're alive, but just.
I'll move forward to healer.
As that happens, as the rocks collapse, you also see Javier holding the torch and holding the map rushes forward.
Oh, ay Dios mío, señor! Oh, I don't think we should go in here. This place is very dangerous. I have 5 kids to feed. You have not paid me enough to go. Oh my God! Look, the rocks are falling from the ceiling. Please, we should go back to the tavern and drink. This place is no good. Nobody has to come here alive, señors.
And as he's saying this, he's rushing up next to you, Colette, and pulling from his pack, he pulls a small glass vial with a pulsing red liquid, and he hands it to you.
I drink it straight down.
It tastes acrid like the strongest medicine you've ever had. Unlike the healing potions that you are used to buying through different alchemist shops and potion makers, this tastes very rudimentary. None of these sweetening herbs or other ingredients are put into it, and it's just straight astringent medicine that you have to choke down. But as you do, the welts and cuts and abrasions start to heal, and you're able to unlodge yourself from the rocks below you.
Thanks. Thank you so much. That didn't hurt at all. Thank you. Thank you. That was great. Okay, where were we?
You get up, you brush yourself off.
Rocks falling, God says you're dead, but you weren't quite dead.
I was not quite dead. I'm not dead yet. So I'd like to take another firm look around to kind of examine what happened and see if there's anything I missed in my first check of the area.
And as you're looking around, you notice that where the things were falling, it seems that it was just poor timing on your part, that this section of ceiling was ready to collapse at any moment, and you just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time when it did so. There weren't any type of pressure plates, like you even moved some of the rubble away. There were no pressure plates on the ground. This wasn't a built trap. It was just the tunnel itself is decrepit and decaying. And it was just an unfortunate turn of events. As the party continues moving a little bit further down the corridor, suddenly the smell of mold and mildew permeates the air. You look ahead through the darkness and you see the old cracked stone, and trailing off in the distance, for a moment you swear you could hear screams and the sounds of echoing footsteps, but you turn your ear to the side to try to catch it more, and it's gone. Perhaps it's a wind playing trick on you. Maybe something's echoing from within. It could be some sort of animal, but each of you hear this, and then it's almost as if it's an auditory hallucination. It's there, and then it's gone.
That was weird.
That's an echo of someone's passing.
As your eyes adjust to the light, you see before you a large, square room with a sandy floor. Dented, rusty shields adorn the wall, and many are covered with graffiti of former adventurers. Some, apparently less successful than others, by the cracked and broken bones and equipment that you can see piled within the sand in this room.
Okay, I turn to the guys and I go, you see that over there? That is good trap place. And I pick up like a rock from the floor, and I just toss it in the room.
And as you do so, you pick up one of the rocks and you toss it into the sand. You see that the sand that's sort of piled up here has been dripping from the ceiling for ages, and the rock sort of sinks in a good inch or so before coming to rest. And as you're looking it over, the rest of you sort of look around, and you can tell that the sand that's piled here was not placed here so much has just shifted and fallen from the ceiling above over decades.
I want to take a look at the ceiling. Does it look like the ceiling from before? Like with the same decay and...
It does. Yes. If a room has just so you guys know, if a room has a different descriptor for the walls, the floor, the ceiling, I will let you know. But the ceilings are all about 10 to 12 feet high. They're all decaying and decrepit. Like the stone that was built for the ceiling has been cracked through. And in spots you can see roots. You can see water dripping down from different places from the ground spring. It looks like it would not take much to have this entire thing collapse in on your heads.
I want to see if there's any traps in the room, at the doorway, or a couple of feet in.
All right, so you start at the doorway and you start making your way into the room. Go ahead and give me an investigation check. And as the tabaxi hunkers down and starts looking through the floor and looking around the frames of the room for any types of traps, what are the rest of you doing at this time? Are you just quietly watching, or is there anything else you would like to take care of during this time?
I'm gonna go look at those weapons.
All right, so you start moving up towards the weapon racks and looking at the shields on the wall and the broken weaponry on the floor. And as you do so, you go to move one of the shields, and as you're moving it, you feel a chunk start to break away in your hand, crumbling to a fine red dust. And as that happens, Colette, out of the corner of your eye, you see a mangy, bulbous form dart out of the darkness, rear up on its hind legs, and in Javier's torchlight, you can see the reflection of its red, beady eyes as it stares at you, its nose twitching in the air, and you see that this is a mangy, mostly emaciated, yet somehow stomach still engorged rat. It stares at you for a moment, and as you make eye contact with it, it drops back down onto all fours and scurries back into the darkness from whence it came. Now, those of you that are watching your fellow adventurer heading towards the shields, you see as he pulls that chunk away, from behind the shield that he happened to grab, a small scroll of parchment fell out from behind and landed in the sand at his feet as he's looking at his now rust-covered gloves.
I wiped the rust off on my pants.
Okay.
Or my armor or whatever.
And as you're wiping it away, there's still a residue of red that has sort of ground itself into the glove itself, but you wipe the majority of it away onto the remainder of your clothing, and there's just little streaks of red on your outfit now.
Something fell when you lifted that shield up.
Okay. I looked down and picked the parchment up.
All right, you pick the parchment up, and as you unroll it to look at it, you see written in a coppery red ink something that has been scrawled in Davek script. And I cannot remember which character you have off the bat, but do you speak Dwarvish?
No.
So it is not a language that you recognize, but you do see that you have a stout bearded friend among you.
Hey,
Yep.
anyone read this?
I can.
Gibberish? I handed it to him.
All right. What do I see?
And scrawled in that same crimson liquid, which as you're looking at it, you recognize it to be blood. And scrawled in dwarven runes, you see Liberates Sulome, which is a dwarven saying you are all too familiar with. It means, save yourselves.
This doesn't bode well.
Do you translate it out loud?
I will translate it out loud. It says, save yourself.
Oh.
And as he reads it out, save yourselves, Javier, suddenly the light around you starts shaking a little bit, and you see that the torchlight is flickering. You look back at Javier, and you see he is against the wall, trembling. You can see his eyes are almost as wide as saucers.
Do you see that? What is it, senor? Oh, the lights! Something is wrong here! I told you this place was evil! No one has come out alive! I demand that you give me one more gold piece right now! 10 is not enough to come down here and dig for you! I am a simple dung farmer! I am used to spreading shit all over the farms around the Dagger Falls! Not coming in here to be an adventurer! I am a 0-level character, for Christ's sake! I have 1 hit point! Give me a fucking break!
Maybe you're all sorry. It might be a practical joke.
He says it might be a practical joke, but you hand a gold piece over to Javier, and the trembling is still there, the torch flickering a bit. He takes the coin, puts it away, and you can just see he's now, the map is scrunched up in one hand, crumpled, and he's holding the torch with both hands, just looking around very frantically. Very horror movie style for the one person that is terrified to be in the haunted house.
Okay. Who's that with the white gold shield?
The white and gold shield, I believe, is the paladin. Yes.
I turn to the paladin and I go, get a load of that one over there, kind of laughing at him for being so cowardly. And as I do so, I go and start holding on to my rapier, because I'm actually quite terrified myself.
And after that, you completed your investigation as all that was going on. You see no tripwires. You see no signs of tampering.
Excellent.
So you continue on, moving through the room. And as you enter the following area, moving past the sand, just slowly working your way around the edges so you don't sink in too much, but your feet in your boots keep slipping on the loose grains, and it just takes you a little bit of time to cross the room, keeping your eyes peeled and slowly watching your surroundings, making sure nothing lurks beneath waiting to drag you under. You enter an area that smells of fresh death. Though you notice the area is strangely clear of all debris. Upon both the northern and southern walls, you see faintly flickering torchlight from 2 torches that have burned low in their sconces.
Let's see. Can I anybody want to pick up this sconce? I turn to the group. Okay.
I'm gonna replace one of the torches so that maybe it'll still be going when we try to get out of here.
Okay, so you take one of the mostly burned out torches down, replacing it with one of your own from your pack and lighting it, the room brightening a bit. And as you do so, between that torch, the one that's half lit, and Javier's, you can see that this room is mostly picked clean. Aside from the torches and the mold, it seems that anything of value that might have been here was taken long ago. Now, I would like everybody very quickly to give me a perception check. The cleric rolls a 20.
Wait. No?
You got a 20, an 18, a 16, a 6, and an 8. So, as you're all sort of looking through this room and conversing quietly amongst yourselves, from beyond this area, in the distance, you hear the grunting, halting voices coming from beyond, speaking in broken and guttural common, but it's hard to hear every word that's being said.
You're cheetah! Cheetah!
No, you're the cheetah. You should have given me my gold. You owed me.
I was both of you. Give me that gold piece. You sit at the cards. You're holding back, hiding cards in your sleeve. The man that you give. I want. You'll never get nothing from me. I want some meat. I'll trade you the card for meat.
And that is what you hear as you quietly move closer to the doorway. From beyond, that is the noise that you are hearing.
Maybe we should go investigate that. Sounds like a card game's going.
Yeah.
Yeah. This door right here.
Mm-hmm.
Sliding door. Let's see. Is it a door or is it a trap door? Is it like is it a doorway? I can't tell from this angle.
It's designed like a portcullis, so it actually raises.
Okay, cool.
The way that this door is set up, it is able to be lifted and locked into place, but it seems that the locking mechanism that would keep it has rusted through. So in order for it to be remained open, it would either have to be held or propped open, for the old latching mechanism has long since rusted away.
Instruct. Do you want to get on this and then step away?
Yeah, I guess I'll.
So you're going to move up to the door, and you're going to slowly pull open the portcullis. And as you... Yes? Would you like to position yourselves prior to doing this, or are you going to stand out in the open? I'm fine either way.
No, that's exactly. I was going to say I pull back a bit and kind of sink on the other side of the door, like to the left of the door.
So
that corner.
So the tabaxi moves into the corner of the room, to the corner between the door and the wall. I'm guessing the majority of you move from one side to the other. And I am sorry about the shakiness of the camera. The only problem that we have right now is we do not have the aerial attachment set up to fully show from directly above. So we have the fighter moving to the portcullis, getting ready to lift it.
Yep. As the wizard, I'm grabbing my crossbow and moving off to the side.
Okay. The wizard moves off to the side behind the tabaxi.
And I grab Javier and I put him behind me and pat him on the shoulder, telling him it'll be okay.
And you pat Javier on the shoulder, moving behind you. He takes that opportunity to move back into the hallway you first came from, around the corner, just hiding out of sight. I'm not going to go in there if there's things that are going to try to kill us. I will wait here. I will keep the map safe. I will keep the... Yes, I'll keep the rear safe. That way no one sneaks up on us. And you can tell he's trying to think of anything he can say. One, to try to save face with you, and two, to not go in that room with whatever was just screaming at each other.
I'm also going to make sure that he doesn't bolt and run on us.
You've paid him well enough that you feel confident that he's not going to bolt on you. He's definitely scared, but the promise of the riches that have been given to all of you, especially what you've offered him, even a paltry sum in comparison to what you might find, is more than enough for him to be terrified and still try to move along to what's coming along. You doubt that he's just going to bolt and run on you out of fear. Greed is a wonderful motivator.
I was gonna ask him how much he wants for a smile.
How much he wants for what?
A smile.
As he says, as you say that to him, he just sort of looks at you with just sort of a lopsided grin, like very much a I'm fine, giving you like that really nervous, like very tight-lipped grin. His eyes have you don't remember the last time you saw him blink at this point. You're sure he has.
We know you have them.
So with that, the fighter hunkers down, dropping into a deep squat and grabbing the bars of the portcullis. And with a heavy heave, pushing those bars up, hearing the iron scrape on iron and stone as it lifts up into the air. And you notice the sudden guttural noises that were coming from beyond go silent.
Of course they do.
Did you hear that? And with that, we need to know if you are going to just rush forward or are you going to try to sneak into the next area?
I think sneaking's out.
Stealth away.
So that's one for stealth, one for no stealth. What about the rest of you?
I'll be a little quiet.
Yeah, I may shoot down the hall with the crossbow.
There goes stealth.
It is up to you guys what you want to do.
I'll go with the group stealth.
All right. So if you're going to try to stealth, I need each of you to give me a stealth roll, please.
Oh, baby.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So we have a 16, a 23, a 10, a 16, a 10, and a 14. Or no, 23, 10, 16, 10, 14. That is quite impressive. And as a group, that's actually very impressive. As a group, you are able to quietly move beyond the portcullis, even sort of coaxing Javier in a little bit. And he picks up one of the stones from the ground and sort of jams it into the area next to the gates of the portcullis, hoping beyond hope that it is strong enough and wedged in tight enough that the portcullis won't come smashing down behind you, trapping him there. You make your way in quietly. You do not seem to have been noticed or caught by whatever is beyond. Upon inspection of this area, you notice that the walls here, every 10 feet or so, seem to be carved with old, decayed, and decrepit bas-reliefs. And what you can make out from where you currently stand is each of these bas-reliefs and each of these pillars seems to be carved with clawing and crawling demons and devils that seem to be rising from the pits of the hells themselves. There seems to have been other figures around them that have eroded with time. But that's not the most important thing you see, because as you come around that corner before your torchlight pierces the shadows beyond, you see in the center of the room, around a set of what might be dice and wood-chipped cards, you see 4 burly orcs. One of which that has a very mangy, long, down to the middle of his back, balding ponytail. One, you notice his tusks are broken away. One's eye has been gorged out, a scar coming down the side of his face. And one that seems to be giggling to himself as he's watching all of this is a bit taller, very slender, with very long gangly arms, reminiscent of an orcish bugbear. He doesn't seem as broad or wide or as strong as the rest, but for some reason, he seems a little bit scarier, and maybe it's because of just the idiotic laughter regularly emanating from his throat. You have a very split-second moment in this to decide how you want to act as you all roll initiative. All right. And
Sorry, I rolled wrong.
yeah, I see you rolled twice. That's okay. I was wondering what was happening here. All right. So the initiative. I need something to mark this down because I don't remember how to set it up in roll 20.
Turn order. Just add turn over their name. Like click on whatever their character.
Mm-hmm.
And then hit add, right click, and then add turn.
All right, give me one moment.
Well, I mean, you gotta have their actual, these characters.
Yeah. So give me 1 second, guys. I just got to add you guys in for the turn order.
Should just be right click. Well, click on the character. You have to click on it.
Yeah, but these are all different from what we have originally.
Whoever you have over here, just pull it from the journal, and then their character will be up here. Then you just right click it.
All right, give me 1 second, guys. I forgot to set one thing up here.
I can do it real quick if you want to do it.
Add turn.
I think you missed the announcement for the turning off the sounder for roll 20.
Turning off the what?
The sounder.
Oh, I think I just turned it on accidentally. Sorry, guys.
It's okay. All right, so we've got the paladin added in now.
Making it, we gotta disable it, right?
Yes, please.
I don't think I did either. There we go.
There's the cleric. There's the paladin. The wizard. We got a cleric, paladin, wizard. Where's the fighter listed here? Here he is. Boop. Add turn. And who am I missing? The rogue. Here we go. Add turn. So the rogue. Bear with me, guys. I am not used to using Roll20 myself. I personally was always using a different program altogether. And I would like to point out that John Nickmal actually rolled a natural 20 for his...
Wow.
Yeah.
Why is that still happening?
And Aval Tatiag, I'm guessing, is Jason, right? Jason, you are the wizard?
Correct.
4.15. Staying in theme of a lovely, squishy wizard, rolling a 4 for initiative. And last but not least, I just have to add the paladin in. That was an 11. Boom. All right, everyone has been added in. Now... All right, so that being said, I need to know what you guys are ready to do as we come down the turn order. It's going to start with Nickmal. What is it you would like to prepare yourself to do? We are not actually taking turns. We are just doing readied actions at this point since you were able to successfully sneak in.
If any of them look like they're going to attack us, I'm going to attack them.
All right, so you're going to ready yourself for a fight if they turn to attack.
Correct.
All right, Siak.
I am going to find a place to hide in the shadows if they look like they're going to jump out.
All right, so you stealthily stay low while they seem to be distracted and move behind one of the pillars, trying to hide yourself from them. That works well. At this point, you see the long, slender, giggling orc sort of turns and starts to look before tapping one of the other ones on the shoulder. And as they're turning, Zank, what are you doing?
He was gonna rush in and try to decapitate someone.
All right, so Zank is going to Leroy Jenkins' his way towards the orcs and go to take a swing. As he's about to do that, Dastris, how about you?
Wait, who's the...
Zank is the paladin.
The paladin. Okay, Zank the paladin, he'll get an orc.
Warhammer.
All right, and Dastris is also going to move up alongside Zank with his warhammer. And Aval, the wizard, what is it you are preparing?
I'm going to draw a bead on the next nearest and scream in Orcish as many profanities as possible.
And the wizard
Blowing the
points
trigger.
his crossbow at the nearest orc to him and screaming out in Orcish as many profanities as they can
What
muster.
about the fighter?
And the fighter, Nickmal, is the one that is preparing to attack if they attack back. So, Nickmal, we are going to come back before the initiative starts since you're the top of the initiative. You see two of your party members rushing in. You see your Tabaxi move off into the shadows. You hear the wizard start screaming profanities at these creatures. And you can tell that everyone here is gearing up for a fight. So as the initiative begins, Nickmal, it is on you.
I charge in.
Nickmal charges in. All right. You rush in, weapon drawn. Go ahead and take your swing, my friend.
Who does he want to hit?
Which orc is it you would like to swing at based on what you're seeing on camera?
The first one.
The first one.
As far as
one
attacking?
The one on the right, he says. Based on
Okay,
camera
yeah.
position.
Back to the party.
Back to the party. The one that has the... Yeah.
That's fine.
He says that's fine right there. All right. Go ahead and give me your swing.
I rolled
An 11. So swinging with your great axe, you swing in, and all too soon, it turns and sees you coming. You see its eyes go wide as it drops down into a defensive stance, grabbing its own axe from the ground, and your axe just swings over its head wide.
I smell meat.
Siak, you are up.
Okay, so I guess the one that's engaged with my colleague,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to kind of try to do a sneak attack with my rapier.
All right, so Siak is going to move up to the one that's currently engaged and attack with her rapier, trying to get a sneak attack off. You have a 19 will absolutely hit. And sneak attack is actually already factored into your rapier. If you look, you see one. Yeah, it's already built in.
So 5 piercing damage, and I would like to move back into the shadows.
All right, so you deal 5 piercing damage to that orc as you run in, taking a stab at it, actually catching him in the back of the calf and just dragging the point of that blade all the way down to his tendon, causing that knee to buckle a little bit as he cries out in rage. And as you turn to move back into the shadows, you do not have the disengage action available. If you do so, you will be provoking an attack of opportunity.
I'm first level, never mind.
Okay, so you're going to stay in melee. You are first level. I will be forgiving when you're used to having all of your abilities at higher level.
I really am like, I'm going to walk up the walls. No, yeah, I will just crouch.
And suddenly, a giant mechanical beast bursts through the ceiling, a large black tentacle slashing across the battlefield. No. You thought this was going to be an easy level 1 adventure. Surprise. It's actually War of the Worlds. As that happens, laughing maniacally, that slender orc turns, looking at each of you. He grabs his great axe and gives a wide arcing swing at the nearest party member. I'm actually having trouble seeing who's where. So orc number 4.
Well,
which would be the one that was facing the door when they came in.
well, you've got the party is surrounding this nearest orc,
Yeah.
and then to the left.
The one that was over, the orc that's over here.
Okay, the one that everybody's surrounding.
No, is that the one everyone's surrounding?
Yeah, this one right here is everybody's.
No, the one that the light's on.
Oh, that's not an orc. That's the fighter.
Okay, then the one.
This is an orc. This is an orc, and this is an orc.
That guy there. I can't see from this distance. So that guy right
This
there.
guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be the slender orc. He's gonna rush up to the nearest party member.
Okay, so that would be Tabaxi getting into Tabaxi from kind of behind.
He is not quite flanking
We'll
him.
we'll move right behind the Tabaxi. So she's now kind of hemmed in.
Is she flanked by 2 enemies?
Yes. Now that the Tabaxi is because this one is actually engaged with the party members, and then you have the other one, the skinny one that just moved behind the Tabaxi right here.
Okay.
And then there's another orc right here. So the Tabaxi kind of has. It's funny. They're surrounding one orc, and then the other orcs are surrounding the Tabaxi. So it's like they've got a.
Okay, and unfortunately,
It's gonna be a crazy fight.
with
Unbelievable.
the Tabaxi being flanked, that means that the orc gets sneak attack, or not sneak attack, it gets advantage. I was gonna say, if it gets sneak attack, we're in big trouble.
That would be really not okay.
It actually
Yeah, no,
get
you could-
it actually is going to it's going to use one of its spell slots to use Divine Smite at 5th level.
Oh.
Just drop the dragon.
Oh, good.
Have disengage?
Game over, man. Game over.
No, that doesn't happen until later. You guys are good.
I heard somebody just drop the aliens reference.
So that great axe comes swinging.
Oh,
The first
man.
the first strike is an 11.
It's
but-
so
It's rolling with an advantage, so we're going to take the first damage if it hits. The second swing was a 17.
I've got you now, you feline bitch.
So I'm assuming that a 17 is going to hit the Tabaxi Rogue. As you take 8 slashing damage as the blade of this corroded and rusted great axe slams through your leather armor between your shoulder blades.
That hurt.
unbelievable. Yeah. I got 1 hit point.
The Tabaxi still stands with 1.
Oh, come on, man. We gotta get her out of there. They can't wipe her this soon. It will ruin their Gary Con.
I do want to just repeat, I was crouching at the time. So,
You were crouching, which just gave him more momentum for his swing.
would it? Really? Wouldn't he
Coming-
be swinging down?
Coming down from above, if you're crouching down, it just allows him to add more weight into the swing.
I thought he was swinging the arc above her.
Oh no, he came down over you because he ran up directly behind you.
Oh, how lovely. Okay.
You're trying to go for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Well,
Yes.
it was really fun playing with you guys.
Well, you're not down yet. You've got 1 hit point. You could pull through. You never know. But the rest of your party sees this happening, and as it does, and the party is sort of staring as the Tabaxi gets slammed with this axe. One of the other orcs takes the opportunity to reach down, grabbing their axe and bringing it up in an upward arc, wild swing towards the fighter. Unfortunately, fortunately for you guys, this one does not have flanking, so it is not going to get advantage on its strike. And as he grabs it and swings upward at you, he overextends his reach, and he didn't wrap the handle well enough that the wrapping actually comes loose, and the axe shoots out of his hand over the fighter's head as he rolls a natural 1 for his attack.
Oh my god.
Oh, frig.
So he goes to swing with that upward arc and just lets go. And then he just looks at his hand, looks at the fighter, and just gives just an evil, angry, grinning growl at him. And you can see he's arcing back his fist, ready to just start punching. With that, it is on Zank the Paladin.
So Zank, can Zank pivot to the grinning, giggly
Yes.
And he will take a swing and he will say, "I will ask you not to pick on my friend."
Oh,
All right, so
Excellent.
you pivot and you swing at the grinning one, hitting with a 19 with your battle axe, and you just smack it in the side of the head. And you actually stumble it a bit as you see it was preparing to actually strike again into your Tabaxi rogue.
Filthy Patty.
And with that, you've now taken the attention off of your feline friend, and it is now staring daggers at you. And the orc that both the fighter and the cleric ran up on, he is the one now that is going to take a swing, this time going for the cleric.
Oh.
That will be a 14 to hit. And as he swings at you, having fought orcs many times in your long life, you knew coming in, you stood up to him, and you actually made sure to have the advantage of going as high as you can, stretching your body onto your tiptoes, so that when he gave that swing for your head, all you had to drop down to was your regular height, ducking directly beneath the axe, as he actually has to pull back before he takes his ally directly in the chest. So you absolutely outmaneuvered this orc as he tried to take your head from your shoulders. Just in time for you to take your own retribution.
Excellent.
So it is now on you, Dastrus.
Oh, I got the same AC he did for the same damage. Did I hit him?
A 14 as you do so. So as he takes that high swing against you, you drop down, taking your warhammer, and you just take both hands, smashing it right into his gut, dealing a full 8 damage to him. And the wind is knocked from his chest as he sort of doubles over in that moment. And in that moment, he is eye to eye with you, and he looks like he's ready to bite you directly in the face.
Fly, cleric, fly!
But he looks like he is on his last legs.
Excellent.
With that, we come to Alvo Tatiag, the wizard.
I'll take aim with my crossbow at the giggly orc.
The giggling orc is now being aimed at with the crossbow. Go ahead and fire for me. With a 14, you're absolutely going to catch him directly in the clavicle, right between his throat and his shoulder. And how much damage? And you deal a total of 5 damage to him, bringing him fairly low in health as well. That crossbow bolt digs deep into his flesh, and you can actually see where the sharpened head of that arrow splits the flesh open. You can see the white meat for a brief moment before the blood starts pooling out of that wound. You take a moment to grab another bolt, loading it into your crossbow, getting it ready for your next shot. And now we are
screaming in Orcish derogatory statements of the damage I have just dealt.
And once again, screaming expletives at the orc of the damage you just dealt. He starts laughing even louder, but the laughs are starting to get choked and coughed with blood. And you see the one orc now, that one that has not yet engaged in melee, starts to turn towards... I am actually looking at the image right now.
I'll show you. This is the cleric, this is the paladin, this is the tabaxi, and this one as a fighter, and the wizard's down here. Tabaxi's still surrounded pretty much.
The tabaxi is surrounded, but the focus has been taken off the tabaxi with everything else going around. The stream's image just went away, now it's back. I actually did not see the light. Who is the blue cloak right there?
This right here is an orc.
That's the orc?
That's one of the orcs.
All right, and
that's
the one
that's kind of like hurt real bad.
I see the cleric with the
This
warhammer.
This is this laughing one.
And the wizard is the one that has the long hair and the red skirt over here?
Wizard's back here.
That's the wizard's over in the entryway.
Yeah,
Smart.
Yamatai, pure blood.
So I'm seeing now that orc that is not yet in melee has a straight line of attack to what looks like the cleric.
Yeah, because I was doing it for GaryCon. I was letting people shoot through people, so we don't have to see her for 5 hours trying to figure out who the hell shoot to.
So that orc charges forward with a rolling growl, axe held high in hand, charging towards you.
Well, he doesn't have a clear line of melee. He'd have to move through the other orc space.
But he has the movement to do so with his bonus action as well.
He can move through the workspace?
You can move through ally spaces in 5e.
Well, that's right.
If it was an enemy, he would not be able to.
Oh, I guess he's charging, and where do you want him to end up on? The other side?
Directly, yeah. He's going to charge directly in front of the dwarf, taking a strike.
Uh-oh.
And as he does, he runs through his ally's space, the ally backing up at the wrong moment. The orc falls prone directly in front of the dwarf, his axe flying out of his grip as he trips over his ally's foot. He is now laying prone on the ground in front of you.
What the hell happened? Arthur!
And with that, it is on Nick Mull once more.
Oh, Nick Mo.
Hickmo.
Okay, I'll turn and hack at the guy on the floor.
And Nick Mull turns to hack at the guy on the floor. Go ahead and roll your attack with advantage, since he is prone. Melee attacks within 5 feet of an enemy that is prone have advantage. All ranged attacks have disadvantage. I think a 22 will hit for 10 damage.
Wow.
You swing down full force with your own great axe.
Yep.
And you actually take off this orc's forearm from the just above the elbow down. You sever that arm from the rest of his body as he howls out in pain, blood gushing from the stump.
My arm! You took me arm! Okay, my arm!
And as he starts rolling and writhing on the ground, the blood spraying from his stump across both the cleric and the tabaxi. Rogue, you are up, my friend.
Well, I am going to do the only thing I can do and take the disengage action.
So you're going to disengage and get the hell out of the center of the group?
Good idea.
Yeah. And I'm going to use my full movement to go back into the hallway.
So the rogue is going to disengage and move back into the hallway.
Next to the wizard?
Next to the wizard?
Yeah, and start
Yes.
taping up my wound.
And
Yeah,
starts
exactly.
taping up her wounds.
Fizban moved the fighter. He spun the paladin instead of moving the fighter.
You spun the paladin instead of moving the fighter, by the way.
Oh. If this was the paladin, I thought the paladin hit the orc on the ground right here.
No, it was the fighter that hit the orc on the ground.
The fighter, okay, so the fighter moved away a step from this orc then to be within 5 feet because there is a space right here between him and the orc.
With the way that the camera is set up, I'm not going to hold them to the opportunity in that moment.
DM rules, you got it, baby.
Only because it's actually, I'm looking at the camera and it is not super easy to see from that angle.
I'm spinning the
So,
back around.
see, I am not an asshole. You technically would have invoked an attack of opportunity for moving to the prone orc, but since the camera angles are a little wonky, I'm being nice. Pardon me.
He's a sweet.
That orc also lost his weapon last
Yes.
round, too.
He did indeed. And now the one that the dwarf decided he was going to bludgeon in the stomach looks him in the eye, growling. He goes pretty much charging forward with his shoulders, headbutting the dwarf in the face before taking his axe and trying to smack you, pretty much just giving a little bit of distance. He sort of shoulder checks and headbutts you to put that step or two of distance between you before bringing that great axe down on you. With a crit. Oh my god!
Wait, which orc did what? See,
The orc directly in front of the cleric deals 26 slashing damage.
oh, to the cleric? Okay, hold on. This one was
That's
still
on the
there.
dwarf, right?
So
Yes.
turn around and attack the cleric?
Yes.
Damn!
And how much is your maximum HP, cleric?
It ain't 26!
That kills me.
I can tell you that.
I think that is an insta-death, is it not?
Oh, shit!
Oh.
Yeah, that's an instant death.
Ow.
So, as that
It's the
happens,
death of man. Come on, it's Gary Con, dude. Be
26 versus 24.
Dude, it's Gary Con, man. Be cool.
Do you
Give
want-
him death rolls? Death rolls.
You want me to try? You want me to give him death rolls?
Ask the party. Ask the party.
What do you guys think? Should he be dead, or?
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Death rolls.
At that point.
I hear death rolls, man.
The
I hear
cleric,
death
the
rolls.
Colette is screaming for death rolls.
I vote for death rolls, man.
You know what?
And I'm the owner.
You know
I
what?
vote for death rolls.
You may be the owner, but I'm the DM.
Oh shit.
You know what? We're gonna play this. We're gonna play this a little interestingly because it is a convention. It is a one shot, and I don't want you out just yet. I'm going to roll a die. I want you to tell me high, medium, or low on a
God,
D20.
come on. You're cold, dude.
20.
Actually, we'll use a D6 on high, medium, or low. Do you want high, medium, or low?
It's a 33% chance.
Yeah.
I'll go medium.
You'll go medium. You were the one that was saying it should be death outright. So if it lands on a 3 or 4, this is an instant kill. If it lands on a high or a low, you're falling into death saves
I gotta come look at
with
this.
one failed death save automatically.
I gotta come look at this roll.
We'll see. All right.
And with that, you
hell
drop to the
It
ground.
is.
That axe comes down in the center of your forehead, splitting the metal of your helmet and cracking into your skull. You see a white-hot flash of pain before everything goes black, and you have a moment to utter a few words before hitting the ground completely unconscious as blood starts to pool and your brain starts to swell within your skull and your body tries desperately to save itself. What would you like to say?
Call out to my God.
So you quickly utter out a prayer, and what is it you say?
Don't let me die to these orcs. Let me show them your power.
Okay. Interesting. With that orc looks down, spits on the cleric as he falls unconscious. Orc number 2, who is yet to be injured at all, actually, turns and swings at the paladin.
What, the laughing one?
No. The one,
Right here?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, he would have to move up the square then.
Yep, he's going to move up.
Okay, because the tabaxi moved out.
And he's going to swing on the paladin. I swear Tony has some sort of app or something installed on Roll20 that rigs the dice. They should not roll this high all the time, and they do roll this high all the time. Oh, the weather change here in Jersey has really messed with my allergies. I have been having this chest cough for days now, and I hate it.
That's the pollen.
I never had allergies before like a year ago. And with that,
Into allergies.
swinging on the paladin with a grand total of 9. That is a horrible miss as the paladin just brings their shield up, bashing the flat of the axe away from them. And with that, Zank, holy man, it is on you. You see your cleric is on the ground, bleeding out profusely.
I will save you soon, but this needs to be dealt with.
And with an 18, cracking into... Are you swinging at the one that just swung at you, or one of the ones that's already injured?
No, the giggling one still.
With an 18, the giggling one sees the cleric on the ground, blood pouring from his face. He is now hacking up blood as he is cackling madly.
I like the taste of cleric. I want the leg.
And
Save the leg.
in that moment, as he's screaming that, you take that opportunity to just bury your battle axe directly in his throat, twisting it once violently before kicking him away. His body falls to the ground, jerking, writhing, and gouting blood before falling still.
Alright, so laughing one dead.
Yes. Now, Paladin, I don't know your spell list offhand, but do you have Healing Word as one of your spells?
No. I'm
You
not,
do not?
not high enough level to even have spells.
Oh, that's right. You're first level Paladin. See, even the DM is not used to running first level characters anymore. All right. With that, orc number 1, wavering on his feet, no weapon in hand, takes a wild swing also at the paladin. We are going to be using the great axe to roll. Actually, I can just make a strength roll. Give me a moment. That's a 9. A 9 is absolutely going... 9, 10, 11. An 11 is still going to miss. So, with that, he goes to swing at you, seeing that he punches you like right in the chest, but it doesn't faze you. He looks down at his fallen comrade and reaches down, reaching for their axe as well. Grabs it, lifting it up into the air. So he once again has a weapon in his hand, but that is it. Dastrus, it is now on you. I need you to roll me a d20 for your death save. You already have one failure.
I have one failure?
Yes. Do not roll a 1. And with that, you now have 2 failed death saves. In another round or another strike, you will fall beyond even your allies' help. And with that, Avo, it is on you, wizard.
Do I have line of sight for the...
You have line
to the left?
You have a line of sight to all of them. The orc to the left, if he was back 1 square, you would actually have partial cover because of the pillar, but currently you have full view of all of them. Your allies are not providing cover for them.
Okay, we'll draw a bead on the left and fire.
That's the same one that just picked up the weapon from his fallen ally?
Yep.
A 10, unfortunately, the arrow goes wide. Are you going to stay where you are, or are you going to move somewhere else within the room?
I'm going to stay where I'm at.
All right.
Covered to the rogue.
Perfect. Behind you, you hear just whimpering, and you see cowering in the corner, curled up in a ball, you see Javier just shaking, just torch out, trying to use it as some sort of guarding weapon.
I am not an adventurer, I am not a hero. Please, distribute the orcs. I do not want to be eaten.
And his...
Wink at him.
As you wink at him, this inane battling sort of just float into the background for you as you return your attention to the battle at hand. As orc number 3 takes his swing on the fighter. And I believe that a 10 will also miss. And with that, we come back to Nick Mall.
Did that prone word get up?
Alright.
Yes. The prone orc did stand up. I forgot to state. I'm sorry. Trying to follow like 3 different screens. Yes, he did stand up.
Alright. And he's still 10 feet away?
The one that Tony is currently lifting up into a standing position, yes.
I could be 10 feet away from him, so I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll swing at him again.
Alright.
I don't have an advantage on him this time.
Correct. No advantage this time. Not that you need it with the 24.
Wow.
So as he gets up, grabbing for his weapon with his one remaining hand, he lifts it up and turns, getting ready to swing. on you for what you did, moving towards you. And as he takes that step towards you, you just bring your great axe down, cleaving his other arm off at the stump. He lets out a cry of pain, dropping to his knees, and you take that opportunity to just bury your axe directly between his eyes before kicking him to the floor dead as well.
So, you want to join your pal Stumpy here? As compared to the other ones?
As you threaten them, asking if they want to join their pal Stumpy, they just let out a growl of rage, and you see just their cords in their neck and their muscles are bulging, and it's now a matter of an insult to their pride. You do not think that they are going to turn and flee at this point. This is a fight to the death.
You will pay for killing Grandma. That was my mate.
And with that, Siak, you are up.
Well, from the shadows, I'm going to take my short bow and hit the prideful one that won't just nicely run away.
All right, go for it. A 15 will absolutely hit. And the one that was just screaming that you took out their mate. You take that shot, and with your 7 piercing damage and your 1 sneak attack, that arrow burrows from the base of its skull and in mid-scream erupts from the front of its mouth. And you just watch those of you in front of it see its eyes roll back as it drops to the ground as well. Orc number 1 is all that is left. And it is on you. It is on you, Zank.
All right. Zank will step over top of the dwarf in a protective stance and squat down and touch his forehead and say, "Wake up," and give him 1 point of healing from his healing hands.
And as the paladin steps over the dwarf, effectively teabagging him as he touches his forehead, granting 1 point of lay on hands to add insult to injury. They have a history. This is a regular thing between the two of them.
Yep.
They go out of their way to embarrass each other in any opportunity that they have. But with that, Dastris, you are conscious once more, and you are looking up into the smug face of your paladin frenemy, who is standing over you with that cocksure grin.
I think you tripped.
And orc number 1, in a rage, tries to attack the paladin one more time.
Oh, my family, my tribe, everyone gone. I'll kill you. I'll kill you.
Bring it, bitch.
And as he goes to swing, the anger and rage, the tears in his eyes, his vision is blurry, and as he goes to swing at you, he swings down, lodging his great axe fully into the top of your shield that is slung towards your shoulder as you're healing your dwarven ally. And as you wrench your arm away, you actually pull the great axe from his hands.
You're going to die.
With that, Dastris, you are up. Well, you are prone, but you are conscious.
Yep. Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
Yep.
I'll get up. Right.
You can stand up. You can get within range of him and attack if you so want.
I do.
Give me the attack. And with that beautiful swing coming back from the brink of death, please, Dastris, tell me how you want to finish this last filthy, pathetic orc off.
I want to smash his nose into his brain.
So as Dastris stands up, he drops his warhammer into a reverse grip, stepping forward and just giving a full-on uppercut, keeping the flat of the warhammer against his elbow, driving it up into the orc's nose, shattering it, and forcing that cartilage directly into the brain of the orc, blood gushing from the wound and from his eyes as he seizes and drops to the ground. Dastris, carrying the momentum of that strike, to effectively walk up the thighs and stomach of this orc, riding him to the ground and driving the full weight of his warhammer into this creature's face.
Nice. Woo.
And with that, my friends, combat is complete.
Woo. Woo.
High five.
Loot the bodies. Loot the bodies.
A quick investigation of the bodies, you find nothing really of value. You do find their great axes. You find a couple of trinkets here or there. You find a scattering of copper and silver pieces. And rancid, for lack of a better word, meat. I'm getting a major feedback loop from somebody's microphone.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too. It's really loud, so I'm wondering if it's me.
Everyone mute your mics real quick and then unmute.
Which microphone should we mute?
Your microphone in Roll20. No, your microphone's in the Discord chat.
Discord, okay. Which microphone should we mute?
Your microphone in Roll20. No, your microphone's in the Discord chat.
And
All right. Yeah, it's coming from you, bro.
okay. So what? How can I make that stop?
Is that coming from me speaking through the Discord? Are you wearing headphones currently, or do you have the stream unmuted?
I might have this. Is the stream
coming from me speaking through the Discord? Are you wearing headphones currently, or do you have the stream unmuted?
I might have the stream unmuted. Where's the mute on the stream?
In the bottom left-hand corner of the video of the stream, you'll see a little speaker icon. If you click that, it'll mute it.
Bottom right-hand corner. I might have the stream unmuted. Where's the mute on the stream? Nope.
In the bottom left-hand corner of the video of the stream, you'll see a little
The
speaker
video.
icon.
Got it. Click. It was me. Sorry about that. The video. Got it. Click. That was driving me crazy.
It's still going like crazy. All right, there we go.
I'm not the only one.
It's still going like
Nope, I'm getting it from somebody else as well. Hold on, guys. All right, so everyone is muted except for me, Bro, and Colette. Colette, I'm getting a lot of feedback, possibly from your microphone.
I'm getting a lot of feedback.
It's louder now.
Everyone's muted except for me, Bro, and Colette. I'm getting a
I
lot
just
of
turned
feedback.
off my microphone. I'm gonna turn it off.
Stop.
It's coming directly from Burl. It's still coming from you, and I don't know why.
Coming from me? I don't either.
It's coming directly from Bro. It's still coming from you, and I don't know why.
Okay.
It's coming directly from Bro. It's still coming from you, and I don't know why.
Yeah, Burl, I just server muted you on my end because even when you clicked your mute, it was still coming through, and I don't understand what was causing that.
Is he muted? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't understand why. Burl, I'm going to unmute you in a moment, but if it continues... Burl, do me a favor. Disconnect from the voice chat and reconnect and see if that fixes the issue.
From the voice chat and
From the voice chat. Okay. Yeah. I'll be glad to. Let's see that.
Hopefully that'll fix the issue when he comes back in, because it wasn't doing that until just recently.
And now it's not doing it at all.
Yeah. Everyone else is muted.
It has to be him.
Yeah.
He's probably got either his Twitch open.
No, he checked his Twitch. The Twitch stream is muted.
Is he not broadcasting? Because I just have my thing not set to broadcast.
Yeah.
Not to broadcast video or voice.
So far, so good. We'll see in a couple of seconds.
Right.
He's
Oh,
either
it's
not.
still
No,
happening.
Bro, are you wearing headphones?
No.
That might be part of the issue. Go into your settings on Discord. Click on the little cogwheel. You'll see voice and video settings. Make sure that you turn your output volume to about half at most. And you might also want to just turn on your auto detect feature. If you're using an external speaker set or like a subwoofer or a soundbar, your microphone is going to pick up the sound from that every time.
I don't think I am, but
Because we weren't having that issue until just a few moments ago.
It's weird.
I was having that issue all the time.
Must be his. Something's on his end.
Yeah, because that's weird that he's the only one picking up the
He's the only one
feedback.
experiencing it. Because
Now, Burl, are you having the same effect when you're muted, or is it only when you unmute?
Same effect when I'm muted.
You're still having the same. Where else do you have the audio playing from? Just from our Discord channel, correct?
doesn't sound like it's doing it now.
Yeah, because he has himself muted now.
Just tell me use push to talk.
Yeah. So, Burl, for now, just use push to talk whenever you want to actually speak. Just mute and unmute yourself. As long as that's not an issue, we can continue on from there. Because, I wasn't noticing any problems until just a few moments ago.
Push to talk will solve it then. If it's picking up you talking, then once you do push to talk, you're
It is still happening even while I'm muted.
It's happening on your end, but we're not getting any of the feedback loop because if you're unmuted and it's doing it, you're going to hear it picking up from somebody else's mic, and it's just going to create that permanent feedback loop on your end.
I don't know why it's doing it on his end.
Yeah.
Can I just disconnect and come back? Disconnect from all of this and then come back?
Yeah, actually, if you close out Discord completely, like right-click it in the system tray, close it, open it back up, you shouldn't have that issue.
I'll do that.
At this point, guys, this is a good moment for us to take a quick bio break. Restrooms, drinks, coffee, whatever you need to get. We will be back in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to pass the microphone over to Tony, and he'll give you a little bit of more info about Nerdbauchery and what we provide. Here's Tony.
All right. I can't believe y'all are alive, man.
That was so close.
Y'all are living. All 5 of y'all are still alive. I'm impressed.
Just go to the sheriff's office.
I don't know if they can even hear me. They probably don't want to talk to me. I'm a nobody. I'm not the DM. I have no power.
It was fun.
Yeah, I wrote this adventure. Actually, I that's what I do. I do the adventures. I do the tables. That's my thing. Like I converted the venture that we're running now in our normal live stream that we have because I run a good and evil team with the Dwarven Forge. I took the Doom of Dagger Dale, the 2nd edition adventure, converted over 5th edition, and then I added homebrew stuff. What I do is I write individual personalized quests around people's backstories, and then I plug that in to the module as well so they feel more immersed in part of the world as part of the world building. I've run a good and evil team, and it's a little bit different than this. But it's glad to see y'all are having a good time here. I'm surprised, like I said, that Rich hasn't killed you. It's me doing the voices in the background, the silly voices.
Excellent. I'm going to ask your guy if he's got his brown pants on at some point.
I've got no brown pants.
I can do all sorts of voices, man. Y'all like Family Guy? No. The Family Guy fans here? Okay. Trying to think of another voice. Y'all like Yoda?
Yes.
Okay, you like Yoda? And do this a little bit of Yoda. We can do Peter Griffin. Meh. Yeah, I was just wondering what you guys were thinking. Yeah. Hey, Quagmire, what's she doing? So, all sorts of little things. And I'm trying to think like I could tell you, because Rich put me on the spot. I didn't know he was going to put me on the mic here, so I'm trying to think of what fun stuff we could tell you. Killing time here. We also do professional DM games. Like I said, if you watch our show and you see this is the experience you're getting now is similar to what we do on the show and what we do in our private games as well. I think I told you earlier we have members of Dwarven Forge who play in our games. Mace plays on the evil team. She actually plays the Tabaxi Rogue. Then Nate Taylor is going to be coming in to play the big baddie for the good team, which is Colderan. whenever they get to the big baddie. They're just about to enter the dungeon. They're moving into the final chapter. They've been playing for about 8 months. So now they're about to end of this module. And then Stefan, and y'all know Stefan. Everybody seems to know him already. He'll be coming in for a game as well. So, and like we do a lot. And then we also have another DM Raven. He does virtual tabletop. So if you like, for some reason, some people don't like terrain. I've met people who are just like, it's just not their thing. And if you don't like it, then you can always tune in and watch the virtual tabletop or Theater of the Mind games that will be starting. Do you have any questions for me about? Probably not, because this is GaryCon. So, but if you have any questions about my company or what we do or the Dwarven Forge build and all the good stuff that we do, just let me know. Total crickets.
No, appreciate it.
I'm back now too. So I turned my volume down to half. So maybe that was it.
That might help.
Still having mic issues?
No, I say just say turn your volume down to half.
I need to go into Twitch as well, right?
All right, Rich is back, so I'm gonna give him the headphones back.
All right, we are going to continue on, ladies and gentlemen.
Back over here.
All right, so now that we seem to have the mic somewhat fixed, at least as best as we can, as you finish looting the bodies, you see the first thing you notice is the different pillars and the bas-reliefs. You notice, as you're looking at them, Dastrus, with your dwarven stone cunning looking over them, you can see that the remaining figures that have sort of eroded and scratched away over time, being that this was a fallen temple to Lathander that has just fallen into disrepair, you can see that these images once held champions of the faith that were fighting back the demons of the hells and trying to keep them subdued, but just over time, like most things, when good is left to disrepair, evil survives. And Sion, the Tabaxi, one thing that catches your eye more than anything, you see the door in the wall right there. And if this is an area that the orcs were inhabiting, chances are they were using a small alcove like that as a chamber pot area. It's not something that you really don't think anything that you find within that room will be of any worth to you, especially when you see the strange smears on the wall and the handle of the door there. You can only assume what those are. But as you're looking around, you notice the blood from this battle has slowly pooled and drifted to the corner of the room where you see a disheveled skeleton, and within that pool, the skeleton's arm is outreached towards the wall, and you see the blood has pooled up against that area, sort of pushed to that corner. But as you look, you can start to see bubbles coming up as if air is slowly working its way through the thick viscous fluid against that wall. And in your experience, you know something like that is usually a sign that not everything is as it seems.
Is everybody healed to full hit points?
No, not even remotely. Colette, are you still there?
I am.
Right.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
Colette,
Yeah.
I think we are waiting for someone to still return.
I am here.
All right, Colette, were you able to hear everything that I said, or do you need me to repeat it real quick?
Oh no, I could hear everything. I just was still muted. Sorry.
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I saw the bubbling and I go, look, that's bubbling over there, and I point to like the big wound in my chest. I'm like, and it's bubbling here.
I will. I'll do a cure on you.
All right, go ahead and roll the cure. That is the cleric that's rolling the cure?
Okay, let's see, mark that. And go back to core. And down to cure. Here you go.
Oh, so appreciated. Thank you.
Passing out. Yeah, there we go.
And as he reaches out and touches your chest, healing you,
Oh, there it is.
the 9 hit points that show on the chat is actually inaccurate. As you feel the energy leaving your hand as you reach out and you touch the wound on her chest, you feel that the prayer that you left out to your god as you were falling unconscious was answered. And that healing is maximized. So you regain a full 11 hit points, which should bring you back to full.
Oh, I feel so good. Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, about the bubble.
Like it's not good to have.
Oh, that feels good.
You stopped bubbling.
I stopped bubbling. But the wall, but the floor, it's bubbling. I think there's a secret passage over there. And I pointed out.
And as you guys
Anybody
move...
else wounded?
Yeah, well, I know the cleric is.
Well, that's me.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, I am. That is very true.
I only gave you 1 hit point.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. I can heal myself, but then I'm done for the day. So,
Does our guide have any additional potions?
Potions.
that's a good
I,
question.
Very nice.
I put my arm around our guide.
All right.
Explain to him that, see, he has nothing to worry about. He is in good hands. And ask him if he has any more of those potions.
And at you armor up Javier, he thanks you profusely, and going through his pack, he finds one more vial and he hands it out to you.
Yes, senor.
This is the last one that I have. I cannot offer any more. And if the cleric drinks that potion, you will regain 2d4 plus 2.
Okay.
Three.
I'll drink it.
It burns.
It burns, yeah. 2d4 plus 2, okay.
Yep.
Roller. Nine points. Nice.
And for 9 points, you are healed. That burn of that astringent liquid going down your throat is horrible, though.
Yep.
It's like the last time you tasted something like this was the one and only time you ever decided to take a risk and try Elvish Scotch. There was no flavor. It was just a clear burning similar to that of Everclear, and it was not a pleasant experience for you. And the worst part of it for you was it just burned. It didn't even get you drunk.
Right. Right.
Not only it had all the burn and none of the strength of the alcohol you're used to.
But I do feel better.
Yes. Unlike the Elvish Scotch, this actually healed you.
Wow. Thank you.
So,
I go to that young man and say, thank you very much. I will try to repay you.
so
I'll be more careful with my life next time. Thank you.
as you move up to the corner area with the bubbling liquid, you start to investigate it, Siak. And before long, looking at that, you see a small, like 2-inch wide alcove in the natural rock face of the wall. And as you look inside, you can see a small stone button that seems to be about an inch or so deep into this little hole.
I tell everyone about the button, and before I attempt to press it, I just kind of want to take a look to make sure that it's not booby trapped.
All right. Go ahead and give me an investigation.
Excellent.
As you're looking at it and looking at the way the stone is built into this wall, you're pretty sure that this is a release for whatever hidden cache might be here. You would put a fair few gold pieces betting that there is no trap here.
I push the button.
And as you push the button, the entire room collapses in on. No, the wall itself, with a loud grinding, slides open, revealing a corridor beyond.
Look what I found, guys.
The smell hits you first. It is that fetid smell of feces and urine, and the smell of sewage from the sewers below, and the trapped gases within this room pour into this room, and for a brief moment you see Javier's torch flickering and changing from that deep orange glow to a deep, sickly green light for a good 5 to 10 seconds before it gutters down, almost going out, before it returns back to its standard normal orange.
It's like the diaper of one of my children.
The trapped gases within this room did not seem to build up enough to become dangerously explosive, but the chemicals in the air were definitely strong enough to alter the burning of the torch, and walking through this area is not going to be pleasant.
Oh, we don't have to go there.
Do anybody want to go first? So I turn to everyone and I go, it's gonna be nasty, very nasty. And I look
That's
down
the way
the
our
hallway.
As the smell hits Javier, you see him reach into his shirt and pull out a small pouch. Opening it up, he just reaches in and takes 2 pinches of these soft leaves and just shoves them into his nostrils. And it's a sachet that someone that you know is a dung sweeper within the city. You're not surprised that he would have something like this to help him deal with the smell.
Okay. I take a bandana and I put it around my nose.
Okay.
Head in.
You take one of the small scarves that you have wrapped around your arm, removing it and wrapping it around your face to try to cut down on the smell a little bit.
Does
Javier what?
Does he have enough leaves for everyone?
He looks in the pouch. I believe I have enough to give at least 1 or 2 of you a little bit of relief from the smell as well. And he holds the pouch out for whoever wants to take. And yeah, there's only enough in there for it to maybe stifle the smell for 2 of you.
Nick Walt just heads in.
Nick Mull, head held high, takes a deep breath, trying to get himself acclimated to the smell. You feel your stomach turn for a moment at the overwhelming stench before you take a deep breath out. Your nostrils now fully burned with this scent. You're able to start moving in without too much of a struggle at this point. Slightly nauseated, but not sickened. And the same goes for you. As you move in, that smell hits you, and you feel your stomach turning. Each of you moving into this room starts to feel very nauseous, but it doesn't affect you in any mechanical way. But
After Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you creep through the darkness, you begin to feel a dampness in the air, and the smell slowly changes because you get this highly acidic vinegar-like scent that starts to waft through over the ammonia and the feces. It isn't long before you come across the cause. A large water-filled pit is stretched before you, a good 20 feet across. But what you notice is the word water is the first word that comes to mind, but as you look at it, you notice that it is extremely still and fetid and murky green-brown. And as you step to the edge looking in, a bit of scree from the edge of the platform to the water that's about 10 feet below falls in, and it hits the water with a plap, sitting on the surface for a moment, before sinking and breaking the thick pudding-like skin, and another wave of that vinegary, acrid smell hits your nostrils, And any of you that are familiar with any type of alchemy, you know that something that is that strongly, that has that much of an astringent smell, is probably highly acidic.
Yep.
One thing you do
Do they
notice,
have any vials they want to fill up with acid?
well, keep in mind, it's also 10 feet down.
Hmm.
But above this pit, as the tabaxi has been watching the ceiling as well after having her brain almost removed from her skull forcibly, you notice that there is a very thick, large, gnarled root of a tree or a branch of some sort protruding from the dirt of the ceiling, and it is spanning the center of this chasm from the ceiling. And if one of you were to have rope of some sort or a grappling hook, you believe this would be a perfect place for you to tie it to be able to swing across easily.
Well, I have a Dungeoneer's pack, which should have that in there.
Please look at your inventory.
No.
I have a little bag of sand that we could tie to the end of a rope. Just toss it over.
Could you say that once more? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I have a little bag of sand that we could tie to the end of the rope to give it weight and throw.
Okay, you have a small bag of sand, but does anybody have rope?
I have rope.
You do have rope.
Yeah, I have hempen rope.
Perfect. And you have pythons as well. Look at you. And people say that the rogues are just trap monkeys. Who would have thought?
You're a little bit more than that.
Just a little bit more. So you pull out the rope, and you tie the bag of sand off to the end of it to give it a little bit of weight. You're going to try to launch it over the top of the. You're going to try to launch it over the top of the branch and try to wrap it around to make sure that it's secure. So I'm going to have you give me an athletics or acrobatics check, your choice.
That would be me?
Yes. Or you can have somebody else do it.
I'm pretty good with acrobatics, so I'm gonna give that a try.
Okay.
Oh, sweetness. 22.
All right. As for some reason my Roll20 just reloaded itself, give me a moment.
No worries.
Oh, sorry.
Establishing server uplink. Launch game. I don't know why that just happened. Oh, because it has the weird buttons on the side of this mouse that I don't have on mine, so I keep hitting them. Just give me a moment, guys. What was your roll? Just tell me while it's loading up.
22.
With a 22, easily, you start swinging it above your head, launching it over the top, and as it loops over the top, that first wrap, you give a sideways tug to the rope, causing that bag of sand to flip backwards and wrap around itself one or two times, effectively creating a very loose slip knot that when you tug on the rope, it cinches itself tight, and you are 100% certain that that will hold tight if any of you were to swing across this chasm.
I hand it to the strong guy next to me. I go, we might need someone strong on the other side to catch people, yes?
I'll go.
Hand it off.
Yeah, I can go.
All right. So there is a little bit of feedback. I'm guessing that is Nick Mall that is speaking, saying that he'll go across.
Yeah, I said it.
What was that?
Nick Mull said I'd go and.
All right.
Thank.
So first things first, Nick Mall takes the rope. You wrap it around your forearm, holding it tight, and get a running jump, leaping across the pit, and letting go of the rope at the end, like letting it unravel from your forearm, still holding it with your hand as you land on the other side safely. With a deep breath, you look down, realizing if you had slipped, that would probably have been the end of you. But you throw the rope forward again, back over to the other side of the pit, your rogue catching it and handing it off to the next person. And every time someone takes the rope and swings across, each of you hear a slowly growing louder and louder whimper from Javier.
Oh, I do not want to go forward. This is very bad. That does not look like bath water down there. Senors and senoritas. Oh my God. Please. Ay, Dios míos. Ay, Dios míos.
And as each of you make it across, the final two people on this side of the pit are Siak and Javier, and he looks at you, and you can see tears in his eyes, his lip almost trembling. And he leans in close to you, confessing, I have a horrible fear of heights, and I don't know how to swim. I don't think I could go across, but I could hold the rope and send it back to you when you come back.
That would be fine. Do you think you can be safe here?
Well, you killed the ones that were already there, and I mean, if anything else comes, well, I'll be honest, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably beg for my life, but I can stay here for a while until you return.
Okay. Good luck. I hand him a dagger. I have two.
He takes the dagger from you and just clutches it tight to his chest. Thank you. And he holds it to his chest, and with the other hand, he holds the rope, and he's just leaning against the wall, sort of crouched down. After you swing across and you throw it back, he grabs it and just hunkers against the wall, refusing to look down the pit, and he's just watching down the other way.
I wave. I join my companions.
Continuing down the corridor, you come to an area of heavy moss and vines, and as you push your way through, you enter an area that is awash with a bluish-green light. The source of these lights are these pillars that snake up and wrap around these large, glowing glass orbs. And in the center of this room, surrounded by piles of gems and treasure and other what seem to be just scattered pieces of valuable jewelry and not artifacts, but art objects, small statuettes, rugs, paintings. This room is littered across the floor with treasure, all piled around the center pedestal. In front of your eyes is your salvation, your dream, and your fate. The golden hammer of Kos, its brilliance reflecting off the iris and illuminating the room even brighter. And as you move towards the hammer, you're struck immediately by just the unease as you realized as soon as you entered this room, you felt, quite confidently, all of you felt that there were no traps or dangers here. The only indication that something powerful is here is the cold shiver you feel in the air as you approach the hammer. There is more treasure in this room than any of you have ever laid your eyes upon in your life.
Do I sense anything with my blind sense?
As you use your blind sense, you close your eyes trying to reach out. You do not. This room is completely still other than the companions that are with you.
I head towards the glowing orb.
You head over towards the glowing orb, and you see that pedestal that's snaking up. The marble and metal that is made of this pedestal that is wrapped around this glass orb sits there, and you can see the pulsing light echoing from it. But as you do, your feet kicking and scattering treasure as you move up, you see that the hammer itself sits on a different kind of pedestal made of jade and ivory. But on second thought, sitting isn't the right word, because as you look, you notice it's actually hovering slightly above the pedestal.
Oh.
It pulsates with a golden light as you stand near it, almost begging to be wielded. What are the rest of you doing at this point?
As
I will call it to me. On the off chance that
You hold
recognize a worthy wielder.
you hold your hand out towards the hammer, and you call out to it, saying, "Come to me." And the only response you get is a slight stifled chuckle from one of your party members as you stand there in this awkward pose with your hand open towards the hammer.
It's not more.
You're not worthy.
It's worth a try.
As a wizard, have
He was not worthy. He wasn't worthy enough.
Magic before?
You've seen objects that float with levitation spells before. You've seen dancing light spells and continual flame spells. There are a lot of easy logical explanations for what you are seeing, except for the simple fact that the power that is almost thrumming off of this hammer is stronger than anything you've ever encountered, even from one of the master teachers at the Wizard Academy in Waterdeep. You've never seen this kind of power before.
Do I sense any evil in the magic?
Not that you can tell, no. This seems to be something of divine eminence.
Divine. Well, I will meditate for a short period of time and walk up and see if they will let me take it. For the greater good.
So as you take a moment, you close your eyes and start meditating. I would like to know what everybody else is doing in that moment.
I'm looking at the pile of gold that's right in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
and I bend down and I kind of peer at it very carefully to see if it's like, on top of any kind of false floor or some sort of pressure plate.
And
if I do,
as you do so, you're looking and your analytical brain is going like, this wouldn't just sit here. There's no reason that this pile would just sit here. But deep inside of you, like at your core, your gut, the gut that has never led you astray is telling you nothing here is a trick or a trap.
I sleight of hand a piece of gold off the pile.
The pile that you're actually sitting in front of is not gold coins, but gold bars. And as you grab one, it slides, it's heavy. It weighs about a pound. And you know that these types of bars, easily traded across the Sword Coast, are worth about 50 gold pieces each. And you slide it into your pack with ease, and nothing happens.
Nice. I then go to everyone. The gold is good.
The quote of the session: the gold is good.
Gold is good.
As the wizard, I would like to walk up to the hammer and at a safe distance of 3 to 4 feet, continue to study.
All right, you start looking at it, watching it slowly hovering and twisting around that pedestal. And it's fascinating to you because a magic like that is super simple to replicate, but the power that comes from the hammer itself is like nothing you've ever seen.
What do we know about this hammer?
It is an ancient relic that has been sought for ages. No one ever was able to really find its location. Even divination magic would not suss out where it was. But there were old rumors of a map that you were fortuitous enough to come across of where its final resting place was. It was held by a warrior of Lathander in ancient times against a great evil, and supposedly the power that it holds within itself allowed this wielder to launch it over great distances as if it were no lighter than a small pebble, and it would always return to its wielder's hand. It was also known to strike down demons and other evil creatures with a single strike, reducing them to nothing but dust.
Yeah, the gold is good.
Oh, someone's got Zanx is going to go up and just grab the hammer.
So as you finish your meditation, you look up just in time to see Zanx, the paladin, step forward, reaching out, and with full conviction and bravery just reaches out and grabs the hammer by its handle. And as you do so, you feel a thrum of energy course through you, this immense power, and then this tremendous weight, as if every muscle in your body is burdened with the weight of this hammer. It is heavy. It is heavy with the responsibility of cleansing the world of evil. It is heavy with the sins of every creature it has ever struck down. And you just feel these waves of lethargy hitting you. And you actually are suffering effectively from 3 levels of exhaustion while wielding the hammer.
Wow.
Whoa.
That'd be a paladin.
Go for it. You're dead.
Man.
You know that to be able to harness the abilities of this hammer requires this might needs to be held by a powerful paladin of the utmost devotion to Lathander, and anyone else that wields it must prove themselves worthy to carry its power, as it was last dedicated to a champion of Lathander.
See, Cleric, I told you you weren't worthy.
I have not tried to get it. I did not say I was worthy.
And as you say that, you turn back to your party. You see the tabaxi. I'm assuming, seeing that the gold is good, you're going to start slipping more gold bars into your pack?
Yeah, probably.
How many do you take?
They're a pound each.
Mm-hmm.
You take 10.
So you take an additional 10 pounds, which is 500 gold.
Yeah.
Throwing it into your pack. And as that's done, that's when you hear the paladin say, "See, I told you weren't worthy." And then suddenly the room goes dark as the orbs go out. And a deep rumbling and shaking starts to come from the room. You see the walls starting to crack. The gold bars and coins and gems start to shake and rattle, scattering across the floor. You see the ceiling starting to crack. You know you have moments before this entire room and perhaps this entire corridor starts to collapse. You have moments to act. What do you do?
I'm going to use feline agility and go towards the door.
All right, so the tabaxi, immediately on that, you see her ears pinned back, her fur fluffing up. She looks around, and without a second glance, she bolts around the corner, escaping the area of the collapsing room. The rest of you, do you follow suit?
Yes.
Run.
You all rush out of this room, filling this corridor on the other side of the acrid, acidic water. And you see Javier there, and his eyes are wide. He's like, "Oh my God, you found it! You have the hammer!" And in that moment, Zanx, you know, the weight of this hammer, the weight of the burden that you're carrying, there is no way you can make it across this cavern while holding it. But you know, from what you have heard, that this thing can be thrown just as a discus and be launched. If you were to throw it across, you might have a chance. And Javier screams to you, throw it across. I will throw the rope over. I will hold it. Make sure it does not fall in the acid. Hurry, this is our salvation. This is the change of our lives that we were looking for.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw it and knock Javier out.
What was that?
I'm gonna try to knock Javier out with the hammer.
You're going to try to knock Javier out with the hammer?
Yeah.
Oh, that is not very paladin-like of you, my friend.
It's gonna graze him.
Go ahead and give me a D20. Give me an attack roll. Just give me an attack roll with your standard weapon attack.
Wow. Hi.
Oh, jeez.
And as you throw it, trying to graze Javier. The hammer flies across the room, the area collapsing. You see, as he throws it, his eyes change in that moment from fear to elation, and a wry grin crosses his face.
Yep.
As he drops down into a crouch, taking the dagger that your rogue so kindly gave to him, and cutting the rope as the hammer smacks him across the shoulder, knocking him prone in that moment. He smirks. Adios, amigos. Thank you for all of your help. And he starts to scrabble across the hall towards the hammer as you see the rope across the branch has been cut and dropped into the acidic water below.
Shoot him!
Go.
So, at this point, you have the opportunity to leap across this pit. It is not an easy jump for you guys to make, but you can potentially do it. But as you look up, you see Javier has scrabbled, grabbing the hammer as he runs, and is making his way around the corner of the corridor.
Thank you, senors and senoritas. Enjoy your stay.
So who's going to try to jump the pit first?
I will.
Go ahead and roll me an athletics check as you take a running jump trying to get across. With an 11, you run as hard as you can, grabbing the edge of that pit with your foot, pushing out, reaching your arms out. You're not going to make it fully, and your chest crashes fully on the other side. Your feet dangling above the water, and you're holding the edge, trying your best not to slip. I need another athletics check for you to be able to climb up the other side.
Excellent.
That was Zanks, the paladin. And with a 21, pulling yourself with all your strength, you get up prone on the other side, coughing, exhausted, no longer suffering from the exhaustion as you no longer were wielding the hammer. But as you have moved 20 feet and then up onto the side here, unless you have 40 feet of movement, you do not have the movement to stand up from prone.
Okay.
Who's next? The tunnel is collapsing rapidly.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Athletics.
17.
Nice.
And you, once again, you come up following suit. You dive across, not able to fully make the jump, but you land on the edge. And this time, rather than grabbing the lip of the actual floor across from you, you actually grab onto Zanks' boots, digging your claws in, and just holding on for dear life. Go ahead and give me an athletics check to pull yourself up. The rogue. With an 8, you're struggling, and you don't have the strength to hold it. You are now hanging off the edge. You do not have the strength with the current weight that you are carrying to pull yourself up off this ledge.
All the gold.
You would, in order to make another athletics check on your next turn, you would have to drop your pack and lose the gold in your other gear.
It's
All the gold. No.
And with that, she releases one arm, shrugging the pack off, watching it tumble. Before it hits the water, you see a couple of the glittering gold bars hit that stagnant liquid, splashing, and you see the sizzling and bubbling of the leather of your pack just starting to burn through as the gold quickly sinks below the surface. Who's next?
It's you or me, John. What do you think? I'll go, I guess.
The dwarf, also not to be outdone by the others, launches himself. I need another athletics as you hit the wall right next to the tabaxi. You're both now holding on to this edge.
Oh, it went twice. Okay.
Perfect. You hook one elbow up, you hook the other up, and you start pushing up onto the ledge. And in those last couple of moments, your feet swinging out side to side from you, you find that extra foothold to push yourself up. Unfortunately, it's off of your rogue's face, and they're just struggling, holding on as you push yourself up off of them. They do not fall; they're able to hold on, but you've just ground your boot into their face to get yourself up on the other side of the ledge as well, laying prone.
Sorry. I will be helping them out as soon as I can. I'll be helping pull them out.
So you will you'll scrabble up onto your stomach, turning around, reaching down to grab her other hand to give her the ability to get up easily as it comes to her. All right. The problem now being there is not a lot of room in this small little area, and you've got another person that needs to make it across. What are you going to do? Because you've got we have the fighter and we have the wizard still to go across.
Do I have enough movement to get out of the way?
No, with where you're at currently, you can't move out of the way. You're hanging off the edge.
Yep. And I'm holding you up right now.
Help me up.
So who's next?
The wizard, he's lighter. I don't know.
Or wizard can.
All right.
Wizard's going? Okay.
All right. The wizard is going to try to make his jump.
Look at that.
Oh, I'm sorry. But that is acrobatics, and we need an athletics check.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. That is unfortunate, though.
Uh-oh.
That is even more unfortunate.
Uh-oh. Sizzle time? Is it sizzle time?
Yes.
Put that bacon on, boy. Sizzle
It
up.
was a 17 with the acrobatics.
Yep.
So yeah, he rolled the wrong skill, but the die roll was high enough. What do you think, Tony?
Maybe he kind of like did some cool stuff with the snake tail or his snake abilities and ran off the side of the wall acrobatically and jumped and kind of did some Matrix-like shit. I don't know.
All right, so 17 minus 1 would give him a 16, which is enough to get across, but you are now hanging off the other side. And because I'm going to be nice enough that you do not just fall into the pit, you and the Tabaxi are now side by side hanging above this acidic pit as the corridor is collapsing around you, and your fighter is still on the other side. Now, you have a problem here, because if you are not strong enough to fully clear this gap and land on one of your prone teammates on the ground on the other side, you will be knocking one of your allies off the wall to be able to hang there.
That's effed up.
What do you do?
DM,
That's effed up.
Yes?
I had a question about Tabaxi has climbing speed, which no one else has.
Oh, what is your climbing speed? Oh yeah, it's the same as your movement. You have a 20-foot climbing speed. That's right.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Fine. With that, I did forget that you had that, and I'm not going to be that much of an asshole. So go ahead. You were able to crawl over, but you were still prone on the other side. You are pretty much laying atop the paladin on the other side.
Oh, Bugbear made it across?
So there is room for the bugbear to jump across.
Yay, Gary.
So,
That's just nice.
bugbear, fighter, make your athletics check to get it across.
Oh, he hasn't made it yet. I thought he made it.
No, the Tabaxi had a climbing speed, so she was able to climb up the wall freely.
Okay, so we'll put it over here.
And as you see your rogue scrabble up that wall, you step back and you go running full force, leaping across, landing on your feet on the other side, and knocking her prone on top of the paladin and taking foot on the other side. You are the only one standing. The fighter is the only one standing.
Oh, fighter standing?
With a 21 athletics.
Oh, badass fighter, bro.
You clear this pit, and all of you are laying there. You pull the Yonti wizard up, but you notice Then with that ground shaking and wrenching, you see the branch that was across the pit start cracking and breaking as dirt and refuse and wood crash down over the pitted area, and you see pieces of wood and planks and scrub and vines completely just filling this area. And suddenly you hear a rumbling as a large, heavy stone starts to barrel down this open area towards you.
Oh, God.
And somewhere in the back of your minds, you can see an adventurer with a bullwhip and a fedora running down a similar corridor at a different time.
Wait. Their guys are still prone. They're screwed. How are they going to get past that prone, man?
So, if you want to survive this, my friends, you're scrabbling to your feet and running. I need each of you to give me, since you were all prone except for the fighter, everyone needs to give me an acrobatics check with disadvantage except for the fighter.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I was horrible. I will be staying back, it looks like.
I have 4 people. I need 1 more. I've got the wizard, the cleric, the paladin, the rogue, and I need the fighter.
You told the fighter not to roll.
No, the fighter is the only one not rolling with disadvantage.
Oh, right.
So the fighter needs to roll.
Acrobatics, John. Where did he go?
John! Yeah. I need you to roll an acrobatics to get past the boulder.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay. All right. So, Nick Mall, Anvo, and Zank. Each of you scrabble to your feet. The paladin, the wizard, and the fighter scrabble and start running. The tabaxi, rogue, and the dwarven cleric, unfortunately, try to get to your feet, but in that moment, with the scree on the ground, you get up and you begin running for your life behind your allies, but the jump of the pit and pulling yourselves up has taken its toll. You know you can't outrun it. A deep fear.
Spare my allies.
A deep fear begins to wash over you as you know how painful this death will be. Luckily, you don't think about it. You don't think about it too long as the boulder catches up with you and catches your feet first, slowly crushing up your body. You go to. You wouldn't what?
I wouldn't climb the wall.
You don't have the opportunity to. You're not even able to. You're just getting to your feet from being pulled up prone.
Did that girl kill Hatchet? Oh my God, Mace is gonna be pissed.
You go to let out a scream of agony as this boulder starts crushing up your body, but it comes out as a strangled gasp, as the words try to leave your lips, but it just crushes your chest. And for each of you, everything goes black.
Aw, man. Oh, wow.
Now, Nick Mall, Anvo, and Zank, you get your way from the first part of the boulder, and as you're making it around the corridor, each of you sort of slamming your shoulders into the walls as you're trying to run past. To be able to maintain your speed away from this boulder, I need each of you to give me your athletics check. I love that Tony is looking so shocked right now when he's the one that wrote that it's an acrobatics and an athletics check to succeed.
I didn't put him
I was still on disadvantage, but this was normal, right?
Yeah, this is normal, so you had a 16. All right, Nick Mall. Athletics. Yeah, I see the 11. I see an 11, and I see a 15, and I see a 16. All three of you just barely are able to barrel through that door into the room where you fought all the orcs with the pillars as the boulder comes crashing against that doorway with a thundering bang, and you actually see rubble and scree just scattering, dust and sand filling the room, making you cough and choke as each of you collapse to your knees, your stomachs and your chests burning with fear, adrenaline, and the inability to catch your breath as you look back and you realize you've lost more than just the hammer. You've just lost two of your dear friends.
Ow. Javier!
I will pray for them while I avenge them.
What was that? One more time?
I will pray for them while I avenge them.
Okay.
Javier, where are you?
You'll be
All right. And as you scream that, slowly making your way up onto your feet, you start making your way back to the area where the torches were. Making your way forward, you see the torches lit. The one still burning brightly, the other one having burnt out. And in that room, you see a figure standing there. And he looks up, looking at you. And he just smiles. He's dressed in leather armor, a scimitar at his side, and daggers in his belt. Nick Mull, you're familiar with this look all too well, especially the emblazoned dragon's head crest on his leather armor. You recognize this man to be some sort of bounty hunter.
Yeah, well, hey.
He looks up at the three of you with a smirk. Huh. Well, looky what I got here. I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself. But you know, Javier said that you might be wily. Ain't you the lucky ones? You survived that death trap. Too bad for you, though. That luck ends here. And with that, he draws a dagger from his belt and the scimitar in his other hand as the three of you are going to roll initiative. Ooh. Zach, you got an 11 again. Look at that. We can remove Siak from the rolls. Nick Mall, you actually did not get the 22 this time. You got a 12. The wizard got a 22. And Dastrus is no longer with us. All right, so with that, Nick Mall, you are leading the charge, yes, as the fighter? Mm-hmm. And as you are, you see this bounty hunter comes up towards you, charging forward, and with a wry grin on his face. I hope you've made peace with your god, because you will be meeting him today. Javier paid me way too well to let you live. And he swings on you with his scimitar. A 9 will miss. As he comes down, and in that moment he whirls around in a low crouch, going at your calves with the same blade, whirling around you with a 10, but you're able to step out of the way, avoiding it. And as he goes back into a standing position near you, he takes that dagger, punching it up into your gut as you take 6 piercing damage.
Me?
Yes, to you, Nick Mall.
Okay.
This man is moving super fast, literally spinning around you in this combat. You are barely able to fend off those 2 scimitar strikes, but coming up from under his arm, blocking your vision with the flat of his blade, he takes that dagger and drives it up into your stomach, giving it a sharp twist before ripping it out. And Nickmal, it is on you.
I return the favor.
Go for it. And with a 14, you go to swing the axe, and as he stays close to you, pulling that dagger back, you go to swing down at the axe, and he dances just back out of range. And you actually see your blade cut through part of his beard, shearing the dark, curly black hair of his long beard, shearing away in a section as you stare at him. Zank, it is on you.
Zank will circle around to get a flank.
All right, and as you do so, you notice he actually turns side to side, one of you on either side, holding the scimitar and the dagger, watching each of you. You still have flanking.
Excellent.
But this man obviously is a very skilled combatant and is watching you closely. And with a 17, you go to strike at him, and he goes to throw that dagger up to try to block the battle axe, but you actually ride his arm with the handle of the axe, bringing it down into his shoulder, dealing 9 points of damage to him. As it just buries in, and you just twist it a little bit, ripping it back out, and a dark spray of blood spatters across your face and shoulder.
I'll say, I don't think he paid you enough.
I've received worse in my training. With that, Avo, it is on you. Mr. Wizard.
I'll cast Chromatic Orb.
Alright, you're casting Chromatic Orb. Wizard throwing a spell. Go for it.
Smart move. And knock him out of sleep if you got it. Get his hit points low and sleep him.
If you click on the spell under your spell list, it should generate the spell in the chat. I'm double checking now. The computer's just starting to lag down a bit. Did it go through?
Yep.
Yep, there it is. All right. For some reason, it's still rolling you with disadvantage, but you do not have disadvantage on that. And a 19 will absolutely hit.
Well, hell yeah.
So, what kind of damage are you doing to this man? Acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison, or thunder?
Acid.
You go with acid. Harnessing the acidic nature in the air from the pit behind you and all the smells around, you channel around that diamond and throw that chromatic orb, blasting him in the chest. It splashes up. The smell of burning hair and flesh. The old leather starting to crackle around him. He lets out a guttural roar of rage as he turns to look at you. Oh, I will deal with you shortly. And now he turns, looking at the paladin and the fighter, flanking him on either side. I need to know right now, are you both wearing leather armor?
No, I'm in chain with a shield.
I'm in chain with the shield.
You're both in chain with a shield. Okay. I was wondering if one of you was wearing a lower set of armor, but he looks at each of you, not sure which way to go, and he just starts to swing wildly. The scimitar coming down at the paladin as this was the first that he was fighting. The first strike of the scimitar is a crit.
What?
With absolute ridiculously low damage, the critical hit strikes you, cleaving open the chainmail and splitting open the skin and muscle beneath as you take 5 slashing damage.
That's the Nick Mall, right?
That is to Nick Mall. No, that is to the paladin, Zank.
Okay.
The second scimitar strike, as he cuts that one in, he spins around, trying to strike Nick Maul. That is a 24 for 8 slashing damage.
I'm unconscious.
And as that second strike drops the fighter to the ground.
No! Shouldn't that guy be rolling with disadvantage since he's flanked or something?
And with that, he turns with his dagger in hand to strike at Zank one more time. Another crit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my god, come on, dude. Are you shitting me?
25, 24, 25.
What the F? Alright, turn off the mod for Roll20. Turn off
I like this mod.
Turn off the hack.
That is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 piercing damage.
He's still alive.
Zank.
Zank is down.
Zank is down.
Zank is down.
Oh, Zank's the paladin.
And now he turns to look at the wizard as his combat comes to an end, and he starts stalking, not quickly, just taking slow, methodical steps towards you. So I need Nick Maul and Zank to each give me a death saving throw. Nick Maul first.
Oh, sorry.
Alright, 1 success. Alright, Zank, give me a death saving throw.
That should be there. 1 failure.
Oh, I saw it's John, Zank, John. I didn't see a double. All right. So Nick Maul has a success. Zank has a failure. And now it is on you, Avo. Wizard. Is our wizard still with us?
He just rolled sleep.
He just rolled sleep.
I'm sorry. I was
I'm
minute of sleep.
Pray for the best.
You cast sleep. Casting it on 19 hit points worth of creatures. You cast it and you throw that dust into the air, chanting the few words needed for it. And you see it hits him in the face and he just closes his eyes for a second, shaking it away. And once again, you see that broken tooth grin as he barrels towards you. There is still over 5 feet of space between the two of you. You could use your movement to start running if you so chose.
Run.
He is going to start running.
Okay, so he jets.
Yep, 30 feet. And now the bandit, the bounty hunter, will take 30 feet of movement towards him.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He can actually kind of get in front of him.
Can he get into melee with him?
Yes, he can.
And he'll take that step directly in front of him.
But he didn't take it in front of him. He can't get in front of him.
No, he's like side by side, effectively.
Maybe some paladins come into the dungeon right now and
Yeah. Maybe in one of the games that you run.
Deus Ex Machina for the win.
And he looks at you, and you notice his head cocks to the side as he starts to swing. Another crit.
Are you shitting me?
No.
They really are. These guys really are going to believe we're hacking. They're going to be like, oh, that's it, dude. These motherfuckers are cheating.
They're actually...
That's it. They're cheating. Nobody does 3 crits.
He just said it's not roll D20, it's roll 20. And we're rolling 20s. But Tony will actually tell you, me as a player, I have the same dumb luck when it comes to rolls. Whether I'm a player or a DM.
Yeah, they can see your rolls, so they'll know if they're legit. They can see them anyway, so you can't hide the rules.
And that's actually going to be 8 bludgeoning damage as he looks at you. You can see a moment of recognition in his eyes as he takes the pommel of the blade, cracking you in the side of the skull. Are you still up?
I am not. I'm down. -1.
Perfect.
Is he up?
He is down. Please do me a favor and roll me 1d4.
All of us, or?
No. I need just the wizard to roll me a d4.
4.
Okay. Now, With that, I need both Nick Mall and Zank to give me another death save. Nick Mall has a failure. Zank has a success. I need you guys to give me another death save because you don't know what's going on, but your unconscious body, Wizard, is being manipulated and twisted, and you don't know what's actually happening right now. So at this point, if I'm not mistaken, each of you have... I'm looking back over it right now. The Paladin has 1 failure. Nick Mull had 1 success. Then...
I have 1 failure, 2 successes.
1 failure, 2 successes, and Nick Mull has 2 failures, 1 success. Right?
No.
No, the other way around. Yeah. And the Paladin has 1, 2... And yeah, so one of them has, the fighter has 2 successes, 1 failure. The Paladin has 2 failures, 1 success. Yep. Go ahead and give me your last death saving throws. Well, potentially last.
Come on, guys. Succeed.
As the Paladin expires, finding his way to his god's realm. Nick Mull, I need 1 more from you.
Come on. Come on.
And clinging to dear life. Nick Mull's body fighting and fighting. Eventually it proves too much as he expires.
So the only person that lives is the Wizzy? Alright, that's sad.
And an indeterminate amount of time later.
Wow, the Wizard lived?
Approximately 4 hours.
4 hours.
An indeterminate amount of time for the Wizard. It is in reality 4 hours has passed. You come to someone slapping you in the face, and you find yourself in a cell with the cell door open. You are Almond, right? You see a man with a very curly mustache, portly belly, wearing City Watch attire. You were brought in for a reward, you know. Someone was claiming there was a bounty on your head, and I recognized you from the tavern in the Adventurers Guilds for the past few months. The man that brought you in is a very dangerous man. So we paid the bounty for you just to get him to leave, but you're lucky you're alive. And if it weren't for you helping my cousin out on the farmstead to take care of those onkegs, I don't think he would still have his home, so I feel it was the least that I could do. Unfortunately, I don't think you came in with everything that you had prior. And as you look down, you realize that you are dressed in regular prisoner garb. You were brought in simple rags and shackles. I think he took everything that belonged to you as well. The city guard, he reaches into his pouch and pulls out a handful of gold coins, and he's like, to get you back on your feet, I know that you will pay at some point. And he places 4 gold coins in your hand. He's like, there's not much else that I can do, but I can also offer you this, handing you a small serrated knife. You know, at this point, not only did Javier dupe the lot of you and steal this worldly treasure, you watched as the rest of your party was trapped and killed and slaughtered. You want revenge on Javier for what he's done. And more importantly, you want revenge on that bounty hunter that humiliated you. You make your way back to the tavern that you were in where you met Javier speaking with the barkeep earlier this day. And he sees you walk in, and his eyes are wide. By the thunder's lights, I thought you were dead for sure. I mean, that's at least... Wait. Javier just came through, your friend. He said that the cave, the chamber was collapsing around you, and he didn't think any of you made it out. Perhaps you should You could try to catch him. He was saying that he was going to catch passage off to the Moonshays on the Fallen Star. It's on the docks. It should be leaving, and he looks outside, looking through one of the windows. It should be leaving very soon, but you'll have to hurry. And with that, hearing that there's still a chance for you to catch Javier, you run as fast as you can down to the dockside of Dagger Falls. And you scan the ships, and you know the Fallen Star by sight. This deep, dark wooden boat, named the Fallen Star for the field of midnight blue across its sails, dotted with white and silver and gold stars. And cutting across the center of the sash is this beautiful, burning green and blue comet. And you look across the docks, and you don't see it. You take a breath, and you look out onto the water. And a bit a ways from the docks themselves, as the lighthouse's light slowly casts across the twilight sky, you see the glittering of silver and gold on a field of midnight blue, as you see the falling star heading off towards the north on the ocean. But that is an adventure for another time.
Oh, what a cool prelude to an actual campaign.
And with that, my friends, that brings us to the end of the Golden Hammer of Kos.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
Thank you guys for joining. I hope you had fun.
Please feel free to check out our to stay a member of our Discord, and feel free to join our Facebook page, our Twitter accounts, and all that stuff.
We're on Twitter. I actually convinced this old man to get on TikTok and start making content as well. But we have the Discord for our regularly scheduled games. You'll see all of our streaming announcements there. We're also available for private gaming as well. You can inquire in the Discord, talk to us about that. But we run multiple games within this entire environment. And I believe JC will be moving the camera to show you the full table in just a few moments. And you'll actually be able to see a rough setup of what you're looking at with Doom of Daggerdale, the very first adventure for 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons that Tony actually revamped, reworked, and rewrote page for page to fit the 5th edition campaign adventure. And in the near future, you will actually be able to purchase that for yourselves to run for your own parties. But he is running the entire adventure to scale with his Dwarven Forge terrain. You have a full towering keep with scalable mountains. You have a river that cuts through in 3 different ways. As you saw, there is interactive traps. You see that things light up within the houses. Everything is modular. You can access it as you're going through. It is unbelievable.
Please don't look at our table right now because it's messy.
The table is a bit messy because we were running
I'm doing GaryCon, so I had to take part of the table apart to put the one-shot stuff in.
You still see what?
But yeah, you can kind of see an idea of what I do.
All right, Tony, I'm just going to leave that there because I can't get the stairwell to fit in the hole again.
That's fine. It's fine. Not even worried.
Just push it all over, knock it all over, start fresh.
It's fine. I have to fix it.
So, other than dying horribly, what did you guys think?
It was fun.
Death, come on, it was nice.
It was good.
They weren't sad about dying. They enjoyed it.
I'm glad they had a great time. That's the most important thing.
Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the convention. And as you're all part of the Discord now, you can chat with us there. You'll see me in there. You'll see Tony. I am actually in the Discord right now. My name is Rich, and in parentheses, you'll see the Evil DM. So if you want to talk to me directly and ask me any questions, or if you have any feedback for the way that I run or my playstyle, I always like to learn. I always like to get new feedback from new players. There's a bunch of people from all over that play with us.
Yeah,
we actually have 2 different casts that run through this, an evil and a good party. And there are actually members of Dwarven Forge themselves that play with us.
I told them that 5 times, I'm sure.
Yeah, you have a habit of doing that constantly.
I've name dropped 20 times at this point.
Notice I didn't name drop. I just said there's members of Dwarven Forge.
I name dropped.
Join and watch and see who they are.
I'm pathetically sad I name dropped. But yeah, guys, if you want to check out our show, that'd be great, man. Any support, if you like this and you enjoyed this game, it's pretty much what we do when we play the actual game. Except I'm the DM. Maybe Rich can start coming down. That'd be cool. I'd love for him.
Yeah, now
he did a great job,
I'm actually getting my COVID vaccine in the next week or so.
Monday,
so I might be able to actually come down once in a while and run a game for Tony, or at least play, because I used to be part of the evil party, but with a job that I have now, it horribly misaligned with the campaign. But that being said, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, if you enjoy what you do, tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies to come and watch us if they have a good time. Who knows? You might turn someone that you don't like into a friend over a mutual love of this game. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to see something a little out of the ordinary, Tony runs the evil party through this adventure.
I already told him.
But yeah, I'm a member of the party. Yeah. I killed an old woman because she wanted to go upstairs and blast my party, and then convinced the Tabaxi to cannibalize her. Yeah. That same Tabaxi that Colette tonight was playing and killed.
Yeah, Hatchet. That's Hatchet. And then they also enslaved the child after killing the parents.
I wasn't there for that, though.
It was like a 7 or 8 year old child, and they killed the parents, and then made the child commit murder to give it like PTSD.
So what you're telling me is I left and everything went to hell.
Well, pretty much stayed the way.
Selenar was the voice of reason.
It was pretty much the same way it was when you were there.
But all right, guys. Thank you so much. Guys. This was a blast. Enjoy the rest of the convention. Everyone stay safe, and we hope to hear from you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.